presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden announced Kamala Harris as his pick for vice president. In case you missed the wall-to-wall news coverage, here are some things we thought you should know about her background, her record, and how President Trump might target her during the campaign. Harris was born in Oakland, California, to her Jamaican father and Indian mother. She did undergrad at Howard University, got a law degree from the University of California, Hastings, then started her career in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office. In 2003, Harris became the District Attorney for the City and County of San Francisco. She went on to become Attorney General of California and a U.S. Senator. Harris ran for president in 2020 and looked like a serious contender for months before she dropped out of the race in December after performing poorly in polls. She ultimately suspended her campaign after failing to garner broad support. She went on to endorse Biden, even though the two had famously clashed on the debate stage.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
In a statement, Biden said Harris was, quote, smart, tough, and ready to lead. He also mentioned he first met Harris through his son Beau, who was Attorney General of Delaware when Harris held the same office for California. When it comes to Harris's record, reviews are mixed, especially during her time at the top levels of law enforcement. Former aides say Harris told her staff to not prosecute cases that resulted from arrests based on racial profiling. She also created a program called Back on Track, which had the goal of keeping low-level offenders out of prison if they went to school and kept a job. But critics have pointed out that Harris avoided intervening in cases involving killings of suspects by police. In 2014, there were calls for her to investigate a series of shootings by San Francisco police during national protests over the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson. But as Attorney General of California at the time, she declined, saying it was not her job except for in, quote, extraordinary circumstances. David Campos, who was a former supervisor and police commissioner when Harris was district attorney in San Francisco, said of her, quote, you have someone saying all the right things now, but when she had the opportunity to do something about police accountability, she was either not visible or when she was on the wrong side. In more recent memory, Harris has received praise and media attention on the national stage. President Obama called her brilliant, dedicated, and tough, and even caught flack for saying she was the best-looking attorney general in the country. Harris was also routinely in the public eye grilling Trump administration nominees and administrators, including Brett Kavanaugh during a Supreme Court confirmation hearing 2 years ago. So, how might the Trump campaign go after Harris? Well, not long after Biden announced her as his VP pick, an attack ad dubbed Harris as, quote, phony Kamala, accusing her of rushing to the radical left, embracing Bernie Sanders' plan for socialized healthcare, and calling for trillions of dollars in new taxes.
Slow Joe and phony Kamala, perfect together, wrong for America.
It's also likely Harris will be attacked for being a flip-flopper on issues. For example, as Attorney General, Harris defended the death penalty, even though she was personally against it. She was also criticized for overseeing over 1,900 marijuana convictions in San Francisco, which was considered overly aggressive and hypocritical given that she now supports legalization. And last year, Harris admitted she had smoked pot in an interview with the Breakfast Club.
Was it a blunt or joint?
It was a joint.
Hey!
Yeah.
You remember the high?
I do.
Finally, it should be noted that if the Biden-Harris ticket does win the election, Kamala Harris would make history by not only being the first woman vice president, but also the first African American and first Asian American. But of course, there are still many weeks before November, and Harris will have her first big test on October 7th in Salt Lake City, Utah, where she'll go head-to-head with Vice President Mike Pence for round 1 of debates.